So we went to dinner last week.
You're fine. I didn't feel a thing. We're going to go ahead and start our meeting with a prayer, and Warren is going to lead us in prayer today. Thank you.
All right, let's pray, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you today thankful for so many things. We thank you that we're able to get together and meet as a group again. We thank you for this fine country you've blessed us with. We have many struggles in this country, Lord, and we know that if the country would turn to you, most of our struggles would go away. So, Lord, we pray that you would bless this country and bless our leaders, help our leaders understand that the way to true prosperity is through you. We ask you to bless this food, nourish our bodies. We ask you to bless this club and let this club continue to flourish and provide all the community services that the community expects from us. Amen.
Now you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What a test for you today.
First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So before we get started today, Jennifer, did you want to introduce your guest? Sure.
This is Ben Rogers. He is a former assistant coach, football coach at Fairmont State University, and he's doing a 9-month internship with me to be an administrator in training for a nursing home. This is Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we just wanted to recap on a couple of things before we hear from our speakers today. First off, just wanted to talk about our fundraiser. So Josh was able to crunch some numbers and get us everything. So first off, I just want to thank all of our sponsors. I'm trying to do some posts through our Rotary page, so please share that. We want to show how awesome this community has supported us, and we couldn't have done it without our sponsors, so thank you all so much. I'm going to go off the top of my head, so I'm assuming I'm right, but I want to say after, with all of our sponsors and after the cost of all 3 of our items that we donated, we raised $6,600.
68 right now. 68.
Oh, wow. $6,800. So, I mean, what a successful fundraiser for virtual and just selling on those. Yeah, so very excited and just think what we can do with that money to impact our community. Wanted to briefly discuss the Avesta-Livy fundraiser for the blankets. Just a quick update that on August 7th, we will be doing the blanket drawing at the school at 11 a.m. I'm just asking any Rotarians if they want to join me. We're going to have some newspaper coverage and media coverage there. So I really just kind of want to boost this up about Rotary, fellowship, and helping our community. That is Saturday, August 7th at 11 a.m. I'm expecting it to only be about a half an hour to an hour, not a large event, but we'll have the blankets set up. We'll still be collecting donations that day, inviting the public out. The school's going to see if they can have a couple students there as well from the school.
11 a.m.?
Yeah, 11 a.m. All right, briefly want to talk about scholarships. Just wanted to thank Randy and Sarah, who's not here, for reaching out and getting with Brianna just to offer some assistance and to form that committee to help plan to see how many students we can actually get to produce an essay so we can give them those scholarships there. Also wanted to thank Sarah. She's not here today, but she'll probably be watching on the playback. She reached out to me and let me know that the Marshall County Family Resource Network does a program. It's called Carry On, and they ask for people or funds to put book bags or luggage together for local foster kids that are displaced from CPS. And what they put in there are hygiene products, comfort products, and just anything to make a kid feel like he has a little space of his own or her own. So Sarah's reaching out to the director to find out when that program is, and then I'll get with Joelle, and we're going to do that fitness class to raise donations to fund those backpacks so we could do that. Brianna.
So I just wanted to give a quick update because I just talked to Sarah right before this. She's not able to attend right now. She did talk to the FRN. They're going to have that program within the next couple of months. But right now, DHHR is seeing a huge, what it is, they're babies who need those. So the backpacks are going to look a little different. So really right now, they're only accepting items basically, when I say 7, I don't mean 7 years old. I mean like 7 months, like that age range and under. Like that's their need right now. But she wanted to make sure that I relayed that to all of you, and then she's going to follow up with you whenever she gets out of her meeting. But it is kind of age-based right now. That's what they're really seeing right now in the community.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Okay, and then briefly just wanted to talk about that lending library. I know we got Grandview Park's approval to go ahead and move forward with one, and then I spoke with City Manager Rick Healy yesterday, and he was ecstatic. So you may have already seen that City of Moundsville has a lending library down in Easton. That was their first one that they put in. And then there's one at the Parkview School on the way up to Grandview Park. And they actually wanted to put their third one at the riverfront. So when we reached out, he was excited and said, if your club wants to build one and put it down the riverfront, you have my full support. He loved the idea to put Rotary logo on there, and then if anybody was to sponsor us and give us the material, their information can go on there as well. So we just need to brainstorm a little bit more how we can make that happen. I know that I think somebody suggested having the John Marshall Woodshop program do that. Obviously, we would have to wait for school to get people back in session and find out more information, but just excited to have Rick's approval there, and awesome how they were actually going to be building one down there. All right, so just wanted to turn it over. Does anybody else have anything they want to discuss with the club? All right. For once we don't have a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to our speakers. We have 2 gentlemen here today. This is Chip Calisse, thank you. I made my own version, so I appreciate that. And Tom Morrison. They are from Omni Strategic Technologies out of Wheeling, West Virginia. They actually are one of our vendors up at Grandview Park and have assisted us with all of our IT needs. They're with us pretty much weekly for anything that we need. But they're going to be discussing cybersecurity today, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you both.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
When Ashley, thanks for having us, number one. When Ashley asked us to come, I thought maybe a good way to start, is maybe with a question. Any questions or things that come to mind as it relates to maybe cybersecurity or anything that you're hoping to maybe learn today? Is there anything in anybody's mind that might be top of mind? Okay. So let me help understand who Omni is. We're a traditional managed service company. We help our clients use technology a little more effectively, and we have noticed a significant shift in how things are working with our partners. What used to be my computer won't print, I got a black screen, blue screen, whatever, has morphed into, am I doing enough regarding cybersecurity? A lot of challenges out there right now with clients, and we're finding it very, very difficult to keep up with it. One thing I wanted Todd to briefly do was, the most important thing you can do for a network is put as many layers over it as possible. But the number one thing that you can do to help protect your network is educate your employees. Educate yourself, educate your employees about what not to do. I wanted Todd to take a minute or two, a few minutes to talk about what we offer in terms of security awareness training. Something we strongly suggest our clients to do because it's really the first and last line of defense between the bad folks in your network. And it really helps be more human-led in terms of the awareness necessary to not let bad people or bad actors into your network. It used to be, and Todd does a good job of saying, I'll probably steal this word a little bit. It used to be back in the day, you would have, bad actors trying to get into a network did so by creating some sort of software. It was a bot, and it was something that was sending out all these things, millions. They say today, the most successful hacks or malware intrusions are human-led. It is a person or individual, Russia, India, wherever, behind a computer screen that is actively attempting to access your network. The days of saying Why would they want my data? I'm too small. What would they ever do if they got into my network? My gosh, why would they ever come after little old me in Marshall County, right? Those days are over. I can almost guarantee you that there are active attempts within your business networks, probably on a daily basis. We've got some cool tools that we could run a dark web report for you if you'd like that after I can email it to you. They're pretty scary, really. I mean, it's a scary time when you see all the things that you're noticing now with the pipeline and the meat supplier in Canada. It is very, very trying for businesses to keep up with it. The real reality for cybersecurity is we could sell you every tool that we have and something bad could still happen. But the strong suggestions from like FBI and an organization called NIST, they suggest that creating as many barriers between your network and the bad folks as possible is the best way to be. And to, at the end of the day, have a really good backup that creates the ability to store your data somewhere. So if something were to happen, you would have the ability to restore it effectively. One important thing with that, when you see ransomware and someone says, I've got your data and I'm up to give it back unless you pay me $1 million, a good solid backup enables us to be able to do like what we call a bare metal restore of your data, where you can restart your network and not have to pay that ransom, because they used to say pay it, now they say don't pay it. So there's a lot of changes that are happening, and the government's getting involved. And I just got a thing recently from Ohio that the state has mandated that any company that can demonstrate that they are taking specific criteria, backup, security tools, all these things that are saying, if you're doing all these things, you'll lower your liability if something bad does happen. And the liability piece is real. I have a client, and I share stories because they're relevant in this market and elsewhere. But a really small company, gentleman gets an email and says, here's an RFP. We want you to bid on this RFP. Click on the link, enter your Outlook credentials, download the Word document. It seems pretty standard. He tries it once, he puts in his credentials, wrong username or password. 5 times until finally it says, yep, that's the right one. So now the bad guy on the other end has 5 variations of his password and username. And the guy's telling me, is that my Facebook password, or is that my Outlook? Is that my Banco, or is it my Outlook? I don't know. So 5 variations, so now they can try to get you wherever. What this actor did was take over the gentleman's email. He took control of his email, created rules within the email inbox that moved everything to his deleted files, which I don't know the last time I looked at my deleted folder, unless I know that I deleted something I need to get. So everything's working out of that deleted folder. Outbound emails, inbound emails are all coming there. So over the next, and this guy's golfing. He starts getting phone calls. Did you send me this email? Now this guy sends out thousands upon thousands of emails to his entire mailbox account with the same thing, hoping that he can find more people like him that would enter their credentials. So fast forward, calls me, and I, first thing, change your password and get it changed, and hopefully you block that person's ability to stay in your mailbox. We get involved. It wasn't a client of ours. 2 days later, I'm on a call with a forensic IT auditing firm and forensic legal firm, because his clients are now saying, you're not allowed to access our networks until you prove that you're clean, because we don't want you to let bad things into our network. In the course of about 45 days, he's $100,000 in to remediate. So, and I know, for our company, we're a small business, that would be damaging up to possibly being crippling, right? So they're real world issues. There's someone we dealt with that's really close to Marshall County that had probably, several $100,000 in remediation in terms of new hardware and new things, because their entire network was crippled. In the public safety world, we do a lot of government public safety work. We support Marshall County Commission and their agencies. Harrison County, West Virginia, Cabell County, West Virginia. Harrison County had over $2.5 million in remediation costs 2 years ago, and they're still, in some cases, trying to get back. So it's a really scary thing. What we encourage people to do, some of the information you have in front of you, the first document, what we say is, the days of security awareness training used to be, or maybe still are in some cases, you'll have a quarterly luncheon for your company, or you'll have a biannual thing, or maybe it's an annual picnic, and you'll take 10 or 15 minutes and say, okay, read on. don't accept emails from anybody that you know, is unknown to you. A lot of content. Okay, we'll see you next year. What's changed is, you know, the human factor is you have to be able to reiterate that to people over and over. So this is simply something, what we encourage people to do is we'll say, hey, hang it in your lunchroom, put it in a common area, and encourage your people just to read through it. There's some simple things on there, but even as Todd said, we haven't had this document too long. There's about 4 or 5 things we need to add because new strategies and best practices have evolved. So if nothing else, it'll help maybe be a little more aware, because as I said, at the end of the day, your employees are always, you could buy every tool from our company or any other company, and one click or one access to your network is all it takes for someone to get into something that could do damage to your business, whether it's personal information, whether it's, you know, just content or data that you have access to on your network. A lot of bad things can happen. We put together the second sheet, the 1 to 2 pages stapled together. It literally, what we try to do for our managed clients, we try to encourage them to take advantage of all the tools and resources that we have, so that it strengthens your networks. You see each of these things on this document. These are the literal layers that we're talking about, trying to apply to your network. As I said before, where you have people, in the past it was a bot or an algorithm or something was trying to ping networks. This is more human-led. A lot of this, really a couple of overviews of some really cool ones. These first 2 on the top, we use a product called Sophos. It's you know, best in class antivirus. The days of opening your computer and using Windows Defender or just a basic out of the box AV are gone. If you're just doing that, it's not enough. You know, and it doesn't mean that, you know, knock on wood, nothing bad has happened to you yet, but you're literally rolling the dice more and more every day. These are enhanced add-ons to Sophos. A really cool one, Intercept X. One of the big malware intrusions is an encryption thing. So you know, something bad gets in, it starts to rapidly encrypt files on your laptop, and then it looks and says, where else can I go on the network? Well, I'm connected to a server, I'll go there next. It rapidly encrypts those files as well until it goes as far as it can. What Intercept X does, it sits in the background and it looks for the rapid encryption of files. When it sees something being encrypted, it blocks the IP, most oftentimes reverse the data back to its original state, and can alert us that something bad has tried to happen in the network. That's a really cool one. The other 2, EDR and MTR. EDR is enhanced detection and response. MTR is managed threat response. They do a much better job than I'll do overviewing in here with their data. But simply put, it adds in a human element. You know, it gives them it's advanced learning. And I always use this example. With enhanced detection and response, it learns how you use your computer network. So it may say, you know, Grandview's a partner, so if they have this engaged on their network, it notices that Ashley's trying to log into her computer at 3 a.m. on a Saturday night. I never see Ashley do that. So it might block it and say, we're not letting you in the network at 3 a.m. on a Saturday until you prove to us that it's really you. If it was her, she may be a little angry, but she should also be a little relieved that something was looking out for their network when we're all sleeping. We might not know about it until Monday, which, you know, most of those types of hacks happen on the weekend, so it has more time to evolve and less time to be caught by the companies. So those are some really good ones. And what they try to do is add in human factor, because MTR, we can literally, so all of our customers' networks are kind of in tune with us. We monitor them, we get alerts, we receive tickets, we can, you know, break fix, we can do all that stuff. MTR, we can also have the ability to create a connection between our clients and Sophos's 24/7 security operations center. So they literally have the opportunity to have a worldwide leader in cybersecurity monitor their network and be engaged in it and notify us and open up tickets in our system so that we can react to something or simply remediate it themselves. We have all of these tools in play on our own network because obviously as a provider, we want to be our own best customer. But there are some really slick tools out there. Again, I know Todd will speak a little bit to the security awareness training. There's another one called Iron Scale. It's probably the most relevant way that you all see bad things try to happen is phishing. You guys all, anyone know what phishing is? Do you know what whaling is? You ever hear the one like where they send the CEO, hey, I need you to do a wire transfer for me and send it to this bank account because I'm doing X. Whaling is literally just bigger fish. They're trying to get upstream and use the credibility that a CEO, CFO, COO has and influence you. Like you probably heard the one where, actually, I'm just talking about it, where you go to Walmart and buy me 5 $50 gift cards and scratch them off and send me the picture of the PIN numbers on the back. And I was saying, I don't think I'd ever get caught in that. A lot of customers say that would never happen to my people are way too smart. And then I had one in Marshall County tell me, yeah, they got us. So they got an email from me and they went to Walmart and bought gift cards and said, okay, what are you going to do with these? You know, it just seems silly, but it absolutely works. And that's
somebody in our company at Walmart, gift cards in hand, and then called our, director and said, no, are you sure you want these ones? And he was like, I want you to. So
it does. I mean, you're counting on your people being smart enough to know that just doesn't sound right? But Iron Scales is a tool that we use that integrates with Office 365 that allows clients to not only have a tool that monitors emails, so it queries a database that knows what malicious phishing attempts look like. It may remove it from your mailbox before you ever see it. But if there's one that comes in, I use it daily. If something comes in, I just don't think it looks quite right. I click a button, I submit the email for review, it opens up a ticket in our help desk. We review it, Iron Scales, our partner reviews it, and then it says, hey, you know what, this was a phishing attempt, it's been removed from your mailbox, as well as everybody else is on the network. So in that case, I don't need all of us to catch it, I just gotta catch it, someone's gonna catch it. So if I get it, or anyone gets it, and then it's looked at and removed from the network, you have a lot less people that you have to worry about not checking it and simply clicking it. Does that make sense? So it's a really slick tool. I'll let Todd talk a little bit about fish threats and security. I do tend to talk a little bit too much. But Iron Scales, the email stuff, the stuff that goes with Office 365 is cool because that is really focusing on your users. And those are the people that, again, most oftentimes those bad things get in through the user accounts. One thing that I'll start talking about this, but now I promise I'll hand it over to you. When we launch it and implement it with a client, this is where Todd takes over. So he and his team, he literally builds out a training calendar for our clients. And it could be, we try to trick them. We send them really super realistic emails from ADP or Google or Facebook, or they could be political, they could be COVID in nature, and we try to trick them. And it starts, you can send them really easy ones that they can find something simply if they look at it and say, that's spelled wrong, Google has 2 O's, all the way to really hard. The really hard ones are tough. I mean, they look the part, it's really hard to get through it. At that point, if they click on it, they're able to if they click on it, there's clicking on it, and then there's entering in credentials. If you click on it and enter credentials, you should be in the corner with the dunce cap and people throwing stuff at you. I mean, that's the person you want to point out and say, can't do it. And then it becomes a coaching opportunity. It can automatically enroll you. If you do click, it'll automatically enroll you in some sort of training course that's online. It's a video, short video, cartoons are easy to watch, doesn't take a lot of time, but really is important. It can create a report that we can share with you monthly to say, okay, this is our company. Out of 20 people, we had zero clicks, 0 credentials entered this month. In some form or fashion, that could ultimately save you money, because the last thing that we always encourage our clients to do is make sure in your insurance policies you have plenty of cybersecurity coverage. Most people assume they do, and they do not. There was in the state of West Virginia several years ago, there was a company, all 55 counties were underneath the umbrella, and they had $2.5 million of liability for it was a bucket through all the counties. Harrison County needed $2 million themselves. So when that bucket's gone, there's no coverage left for that calendar year for everybody. Well, now everybody, as I work with Betsy pretty closely here in the county, they have their own policy that's large enough to cover whatever would happen. So, and we can help with that. We have a really good partner that we use and work with closely that evaluates cyber policy. It evaluates your policy and then looks at your cyber coverage and just gives you advice, tells you if it's enough. Some really good tools. I'm going to turn it over to Todd so he can help out deal with.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, he hit on most of the points. The days of I got a firewall and a free antivirus, it's just not. There's no money to be made if I got a virus on the computer. I can make money by helping you fix it, right? But the bad guys, where are they really getting out of it? It's no longer important. They want your data. They want to sell it back to you. That's why we got next generation of these tools, because again, what Chip said, it is people. People are gonna find your credentials on the dark web somewhere. You're gonna have 20,000 people to work with, and I'm just gonna spend every day in India somewhere, seeing what I can get. Okay, I know where your domain is, I'm gonna try to get you there, that. So these tools are just more sophisticated. I love the MTR piece of it because Chip kind of talked about it, but I'm the technical guy, the guy that helps set this stuff up and gets me super excited, so I do talk fast because I love this stuff. But let's say it's 3 a.m., somebody's in your server. They run a PowerShell command. That's normal, right? That can happen. Windows lets you do that. So they ask the question, who am I? Which tells you what account access do I have? Why would I, if I'm on my server doing updates, ask that question of who am I to find out my credentials? Instantly, that creates a whole other process that goes to the Sophos operation team, and they jump in and start looking at it and actively person fighting a person, right? That's what everything you're hearing now with ransomware. It is a person actively trying to exploit, see what they can do. A lot of times they drop some stuff in there, stay under the radar, because what they did is normal, right? There's nothing to do there. And then 262 days later, all of a sudden, you find out they've been taking your data, they've been hard switched up for the last almost a year, right? You have no idea at all when, completely undetected. So the tools on the endpoint and the server stuff are very, very powerful. And again, it's not just software looking for software. It gets to a point, if it gets to that point where it needs to, there is somebody that can actively act on our behalf, on your behalf, and say, I'm going to stop this right now, and you get to it. If you don't do any of that, you can call Sophos, and for $100 grand, they'll help you fix it. Something's happening, all my data is encrypting, what do I do? You can call their services to help you once it's already happened, but it's much better to proactively, not reactively address it. I'm on the iron scales with the email stuff. I mean, every day, everybody's getting phishing. Right? It's just constantly, they look stupid sometimes, but other times, hey, it says this is from Chip Calisse, but if you look at the email, it's cw2249@gmail.com, right? That's the first thing you want to look at is where actually did this come from? Iron Skills takes it a step further and says, this is an impersonation protection. I'm going to deliver to your inbox just in case you want to see, but I'm going to put a giant red banner saying, hey, we don't recognize this email as sent to your inbox before. Just be a little more careful. Or if it deems that 80% this is totally garbage, it will remove it. And typically, not just you get that spam email, your whole organization will get it. They just send out hundreds of emails that will get rid of everybody's inbox. It's really cool. If there's a URL in it, it will scan the URL before it delivers to your inbox and say, hey, this is taking you to a project website. It says it's a Microsoft login page. It looks like a Microsoft login page, but it is some random sketchy website on the internet that looks just like it should to trick you into type of credentials. So just lots of neat stuff that keeps out of your inbox so you don't have to worry about it. You can train people to look at stuff, but it's even better to not even give them the opportunity to click on that link or open that attachment. So that's the piece of the that we also tested with the fish thread, as Chip mentioned. Really cool stuff that you guys use ADP, a lot of people do. There'll be ADP test, and it takes you to the website that looks just like an ADP login. You have your credentials, it doesn't say your credentials, but it says, hey, you just failed. It'll enroll you into a training specific to what you just failed at, right? It's not going to say, you know, your credentials, and we talk about attachments, right? If you open an attachment on a different one, it's going to send you to a training. So it's really cool. And it's different stuff. One, we can do it every week, every month. He's testing things, and sometimes it'll be an attachment that they open. It'll say, hey, there's a lost puppy in the building. His name is Scotty. Here's a picture of him, and it's an attachment. And that's the one I think that gets most people, little lost puppy. And give an attachment, and then just send you an email saying, it's neat stuff. And again, it just tests you, just the reinforcement of, oh. And then some people don't want to tell their organization that they're doing this test. So if you know what's going to happen, you're even more, oh man, I don't want to be on that fail list. So you'll just look at every email a little more. Right. So anyway, it's a really cool tool that just goes in between your email and your inbox. I don't know if you guys, all people are moving to Microsoft 365 for their email and Teams and OneDrive and stuff. Microsoft doesn't really back that up. They just provide, say, 99.9% uptime. But if you delete something, you have 23 days to reach out to Microsoft to get it back. And it's a huge, cumbersome, painful process. So we also offer like the cloud-to-cloud backup. So any email, anything in your OneDrive gets backed up nightly to a different place. So if you delete it, you can call us, or you can manage it yourself too and retrieve that file within the same 5 minutes of when you maybe deleted it from your OneDrive.
That's a big one. Most people that use Microsoft assume that their stuff's being backed up, their email, OneNote, all that stuff. It's not. I mean, it's back up to a certain point. Even if you have a separate backup device, you have to take other steps. That's a really cost-effective way to do it. So if you have Office 365, a couple things. Strongly suggest that, and another one. Touch on it about that.
You never let me.
Todd's gonna tell you about multi-factor authentication. It's real,
That's a good leading point too. And so your password, everybody's like, hey, some people every 90 days supposed to change it, just frustrates the crap out of everybody. Microsoft and even like the National Institute of Security are saying, you know what? You should have a pretty long password, but multi-factor authentication is way more secure because I have a 300-character password. If I give it away accidentally by typing into a website, 300 characters are now known, right? If you have the multi-factor, which is most of you are probably aware, typing your password then prompts you, hey, what's the code that we just texted you, or what's the code on your authenticator app? In India, you can't do that. I have a 300-character password. I type it in, it's going to call me for that code. I have no access to that, so shuts it down right there. So that's huge, and I think people say, well, that's a pain in the butt too, but it's also a pain in the butt to change your password every 90 days. That's more frustrating, I think, to most users than having to get their phone out. There's even little dongles you can still get, because a lot of customers don't want to, oh, it's not a company issued phone, I don't want to make them have this application on their phone to get the code. There's even little keychain dongles that change codes every 60 seconds. Or if I don't have a smartphone, I got a flip phone, there's still a solution for multi-factor outside of that. So that's huge. That's almost like the number one thing we recommend. Because anybody can go to office.com and try to log in as you, right? There's nothing stopping them from doing that. And if they happen to have a list of 5 passwords, the dark web is crazy too. So everybody has websites, they all over the place, right? It could be a forum somewhere. You probably use your email address and you probably use the same variation of password used all over the place. Those are where people are getting targeted. They can't really break into Microsoft and get your credentials. Joe's auto form probably doesn't follow all the same security guidelines that Microsoft does. So I'm going to go get that. I'm going to take all the database information with everybody's username and password. I'm going to try to target that and get into the big fish, right? So that stuff is every day out there for forms. The startup monitoring is pretty much a list of everybody, the organization's email addresses are in a database, and if this tool goes into the weird places and gets this data, it'll say, hey, if I see a list of email addresses, it'll email you, it'll create a ticket or system saying, hey, the one most recent Park Mobile, I don't know, is that probably down here too?
I don't think they're here yet. It's in Wheeling. If you parked in Wheeling and you see the app.
Like gator parking. So it's like, hey, you can do an app. They got breached in March. Hundreds of thousands of people's username, passwords. The passwords were encrypted, but it's really easy to decrypt the encrypted password. So that's scary. That's like, oh man. So I even told Chip to use Park Mobile that you better change your password, and if that's any iteration of anything else, use somewhere else. Because again, it's Park Mobile's data, but who's to say he didn't use that same password and email address on 1,000 other websites? So it's kind of this, again, more awareness, this being understanding what's out there. It's not, oh, this is safe. That could be safe, but this isn't. This got breached, and the credentials for that can get you to other places too. So it's kind of like a master key that gets you all the places too.
One thing I'd like to add there, Todd, is when you hear all these things, I'm sure if you've been in business and you know, what's that going to cost me, right? I mean, obviously cost becomes a discussion quickly. What's changed in this industry is it used to be that a Fortune 500 company would have all these tools and more. They'd spend millions trying to protect their data. These companies that developed these tools realized that they were missing an entire market of small and medium-sized businesses, which is predominantly what we deal with, and losing market share opportunities to sell products. These are cost-effective solutions. As an example, when we support a client, we support them either in a limited fashion or fully managed. Fully managed is if you don't want to deal with it, we're your IT person. And we charge you a lot more for that per computer, per server, per user. Limited means that we're going to charge you a rate per computer, per server, and you'll pay us a discounted rate for our labor when and if you need it. And then if you want to add these tools on, they're all add-ons. So the package that we sell that has all of these tools outside of the policies on it is $30 per computer per month. Now, if you have 100 computers, obviously, you know, Marshall County is going to add all these tools on in their next budget cycle. They can't do it all at once. But if you have 10, 5, 10, 20, it's not that much money. And what's changed is every discussion I used to have with clients, they would say, I want to save money on my IT spend. Now they're saying, am I spending enough? And they realize that it's an investment. It's no different than a gate in front of your house, a lock on your door. It's the same thing. So it can absolutely save you dollars. If it does its job one time, it'll save you tenfold what it might cost or more to remediate or fix that problem. So if you're, I'm not incredibly salesy, like I won't take the list of members here, call on you. What I'd encourage you, if you're dealing with an IT company in your current business, or you have an IT person and they're not talking to you about things like this, I would encourage that you call us, because that's what we start with. What's going on within your network? How do we better protect it? And how do we become kind of that partner? All of our partners, what we try to do is, if you're making a technology decision, you shouldn't make it until you talk to us. And we engage Todd and his whole team of technical staff. We have 14 employees, an office here in Charleston, and we talk about it collectively. We make sure we vet our vendors, and we make sure we advise properly. So if you're not getting that, it's a service that is sorely needed, because if you think it can't happen, it can, and usually will at some point. So
One thing we're seeing is, if you do have a cyber insurance package, before is just, yep, I have antivirus, they would cover you. They've gotten so many claims, high dollar claims for ransomware. They're gonna give you a 14-page document that says you need to have this, you need to have this. And this pretty much will check all those type of boxes to get you the coverage and renew your policies. That's what people are coming to us now saying, hey, we've been talking about this for so long, it's like now it's kind of shifted. You're here on the news every day, like this is real. And the insurance companies don't want to just eat these costs for these seriously big breaches.
they're also seeing it's an opportunity for them to sell new policies. So it's a great thing to think about, because ultimately, if you could check all those boxes, it could save you money in terms of, we're not an insurance company, we don't sell cyber policies, but it could save you money when you go to renew, or to be able to say, yep, I've got all of these measures in place. I'm as protected as I can be. And they understand that you can't do everything, but you should be doing more than just the basic levels of trying.
On a personal level, not a business level, what's your opinion of password managers?
And we use
LastPass. So I love them. They're super handy and they generate passwords. One thing that personally is in my back of my mind of, oh crap, what's the worst that could happen? I assume that they have enough security in place, but that'd be the place I would want to target.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
LastPass.
Right.
There's
There,
a whole slip of everybody's. You can log in. Oh, I guess it's an employee or to leave, whatever. I can take all their passwords and have it, and I can export it to an Excel sheet, and there it all is. So that scares me, because if that gets breached, no one's safe, right?
Right.
But I think they have it. I mean, if you research them, you'll see they follow the SOC 2, all the whatever data center stuff. We use it, and I use it confidently, knowing that I think they're as well protected as anybody can be, and I think they have to follow the most strict guidelines.
Which one do you use?
LastPass.
Can you spell it?
LASTPASS. LastPass.
Okay, thanks.
And it'll even generate passwords for you. Well, you can do that anywhere, but it's a pretty nice tool. Again, it's good for organizations to help you're leaving instead of all your crap. Because sometimes you have random website, people do different things, so you can actually share. Like we as a team share with our technicians different things. So I don't have to, again, it could be a 20-character password. I don't even need to see it. I can paste it in without even seeing it, just to help us manage our workload. But there's tons out there.
The thing I'll tell you with any of the multi-factor authentication is available outside of Office 365 as well. Whenever a company that you're dealing with online offers you MFA, take it. It can be a pain in the butt. It really can. But if someone compromises your email or accesses that account, it's a much bigger pain in the butt. So if it's offered in any form, flavor, whatever, always say yes or try to.
Most of the companies, those sites, a part of their security policy are requiring multi-factor. Like, I'm not going to give anybody a chance to breach you to get into your accounts. I mean, any of the big players are starting to mention it, offer it, but they're going to start expiring too. So.
And we have a lot of clients that are saying, yes, give it, help us do that. A quick example, we have a CPA firm in Wheeling, large firm, 99% of their employees, we deployed multi-factor, 100% of their employees were doing it. We get a call at our help desk from one of the 3 owners who says, take this crap off of my older gentleman, he hated it. I do not want it. I will not accept it. Our technical staff is trained to say, nope, not until. So Nancy is in charge of that. And he said, I'm an owner of the company, take it off. So obviously at that point, we're not going to get fired. But it's no different. I told him, and I told the other owners, it's like building a security fence and leaving the gate open. It doesn't mean it's, that one person could be the one person that it doesn't matter. Then they'll come to us and say, yeah, you had MFA, yeah, but this guy didn't do it. So, I have clients tell me all the time, I can't mandate that my employees do that. Sure you can. If they fight you on it, you should at least say, this is our best practice and this is what we're gonna do, and have a compelling reason for not doing it. Like there's a particular tool that I use that Todd had to turn it off on mine, and it's back on and I'm glad that it is, but the tool wouldn't accept it. Like the resource I'm trying to use wouldn't allow MFA to be used with it. So it wouldn't let me function. So they turned it off and now they're able to turn it back on. But I'd encourage you to do that wherever possible. The last thing I'll say is this dark web report, I'll leave a stack of my business cards. If you would want us to run a dark web report, it's scary. We run it for our company. My name's all over it, like this Park Mobile breach, or there was one on LinkedIn several years ago. I can almost guarantee that everybody's information, some form or fashion, is on the dark web. It's there.
And a lot of times it's not a password, but it's your name, your address.
Yeah.
Just for P2 data, sensitive data, maybe not your password, but this one looks for anything. I see it, we'll report on it. A lot of times,
That's where all
we
the,
had a couple last week,
crime takes
just like your name, your address, and your phone number. But that's not to kind of take the next step and start digging. There's databases all over the internet, so everybody somewhere, something like I said before, these little websites keep taking over. If you have an account on there, that data. So it's neat.
Yeah, obviously any other questions here, but my business card will be here. If you have questions about services, solutions, or just general questions, I'm happy to do my best to answer them. If not, keep squad. Thank you.
So is the dark web where crime just takes place on the internet, or is there actual different part of the
part? Dark web is just pretty much like, I mean, the internet is just an abyss of anything you want. You can buy your illicit drugs from somewhere or whatever, but it's just, the dark web is just anything. So this company we leverage to do it, they just kind of have a full team that's constantly looking in these weird forums that are probably not placing money to look, they could find the data. And a lot of times it's free, sometimes you pay for it. And it's just, I think this thing says like,
Yeah, there's some cool.
$1 to $8. Typical price range for a compromised credential, $1 to $8. So I can buy a password, username password for between $1 and $8
Like a hacker can buy.
Yeah, so some
Yeah,
things,
they're
there's
grabbing
money
as
to
much
be
content
made,
as they can and
whether
sell
I'm the
it.
guy getting it or the guy taking it. I mean, there's just, it's crazy. But that's, with everything online now, I mean, nobody.
They're trying to get you.
Nobody's.
And your data.
I'd probably say that the biggest things to take away: awareness training for yourself and your employees, multi-factor authentication, and adding layers to your network, and really just continuing to be aware, have a really heightened sense of awareness of things. I mean, it's an unfortunate reality we live in that people are trying to always take advantage of us. So be skeptical with everything you see online. As it relates, if you're an individual or a business, if you're a business, it's a lot different because you have a much different set of issues and challenges to deal with. Then it really becomes about all the higher end stuff that you can apply, security tools, data backup and things like that that can make you stronger. But if you do those things, that's a simple way to really try to just become more aware of what's happening online. I always, whether it's TikTok or when they ask you on Facebook to create this avatar or do this thing to like make an image of yourself, they're doing it for a reason. They're trying to collect data about who you are. And a lot of times those things are not the greatest of the most reputable people doing it. So I was like, my daughter, look what I made today or whatever, it's okay. I get they're trying to create something advantageous to themselves to be able to use for their benefit. So just be aware of what you're entering your name and information into, and realize that it's probably going somewhere to be used for some bad things.
And always patch Windows updates on your computers and servers. Keep those up to date.
Great point. That's probably when we take over a client, probably the first and foremost thing that we notice is you're sitting at your computer doing what you do every day. You're busy, and an update comes up and says, "Hey, this needs updated." And we oh, too busy, can't do it. We'll find that our clients are way behind. And being way behind, you may have missed a really important security patch that should be applied that hasn't been, that could be really damaging to you. And that's something that we do for our clients. We automate that process. So.
I work at the hotel, and at night I would like to get on the
computer. And I'm like, oh yeah, because there's any, I mean, there's all kinds of chances you, and when I had one girl that did it, and when I got that, I went like bonkers. And I'm like, no, they, first of all, are never gonna call you. You have to get on your computer. Never are they gonna call you. And second of all, no one gets on their computer but me or, the other employees. And if I have an IT guy, he's here with me, looking at it with me. But they called a lot, and I didn't know probably in my 8 years, probably 3 or 4 years.
They're smart.
If they want Microsoft support, we need to
Yeah.
address it. I mean,
They know you probably have, not in a bad way, probably don't have a manager on staff or someone to say, wait a second, be skeptical, right? So they know their target's a little softer, and overnight might be the best time. That's where most of the bad stuff happens.
that's one thing for user accounts. I mean, a lot of times we're told no, but no user should be an administrator of their computer or access to the server. To make them a limited account, they can't install anything, which becomes a pain, not paid, and you gotta intervene, but it protects you first. I mean, hey, I can't, hey, here, go to this website, do this code, oh, I can't, it won't run, I can't download because that user doesn't have the access. So that's one thing that we recommend for sure. But yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, thanks, one second.
Any other questions? We appreciate you. I can also email these to you for anybody, online, and I'll leave some on business cards. That way, if you all, or you want to see that report, it's probably scare the heck out of you a little bit, but it might be information worth having as well. If anything, if your name's on it, first thing is change your passwords. I change them every month, and just make it a best practice.
But are you changing on every website you
Every, yeah.
Your mom. Nobody does. That's why multi-factor is so important.
One takeaway that I got, I used to be really bad. I used to use the same password for everything, and I've gotten away from that, but that's probably very.
Or even you change it, just add an exclamation point to the end.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Somebody's gonna try that.
See, and I
When
thought
you're
it was
doing
really
You
cool.
add the exclamation point, and the next time you go make it into the next character, and you're thinking, well, I'm pretty smart. They're probably not. Bad folks are probably just smarter than we are. And that's just the reality. But I'll leave these here. If anybody has any questions or anything, please feel free. But we appreciate it all. Have a good day.
Anybody have anything else for the club tonight?
If you see my personal Facebook post, please share it. I'm meeting an employee. I don't want to see my Facebook ad. I hate that ad. If you see it, pass it along. I would do that.
Share for Joni, we need to find some people.
I think Carol and Bob would be wonderful.
Well, then, there might be somebody in this room that could fill that position.
Yeah.
2 days, just 2 days.
2 days.
Give me one time. Everybody have a great day. Thank you. That was pretty good. Pretty sweet. I like that. You're tired. Otherwise, she's out of here and there. That's why she's good at what she does. Oh, yeah.
From 1 to 85.
If they do,